So I'm a big fan of Invincible. You guys know this if you've watched me before. I've talked about Omni-Man's twist in Season 1, his reunification in Season 2, and the whole Cecil debate from Season 3. Today I thought I'd jump back into the Invincible world and rank all of the Viltrumites introduced in the series thus far, from worst to best. Not necessarily weakest to strongest, but a multitude of factors that make great characterization. Not to say that strength doesn't come into play, but you'll figure it out as I jump into it. The Viltrum Empire has been slowly revealed to us a lot throughout these 3 seasons, but also not all that much. We've only seen a handful of Viltrumites, and what we've seen have been short fights that usually don't last longer than an episode. So this will be a fun one. Be sure to subscribe for more Invincible and animation content, and let me know your favorite Viltrumite in the comments below. Let's jump right into this. At last place, I'm going with Lucan. Is he the weakest Viltrumite? Absolutely not. He just reminds me of Steve Harvey, and that really pisses me off. We see him once when he comes to Thraxa along with Vidor and Thula, and is the first one that Omni-Man defeats in the Crystal Cave. He literally slices this dude's intestines out, and then jams a sharp boulder through it. Absolutely brutal. So you gotta give him credit there for taking it like a boss. But he also goes after Andressa and Oliver, so you know, he's not exactly noble. This dude literally comes back from presumed death just to break Nolan's back with the super kick to the poor guy's lumbar. Only to die immediately after fulfilling this one bitch-ass plot duty, which is knocking out Nolan. What a dork. He should have cut your neck too while he was out at Lucan, and ripped off that Steve Harvey frickin' sash. It's lucky he was voiced by Phil Lamar. That dude is a legend. So then we have the Executioners, who I decided to rank together, because they're basically the same character with only minor differences. They brutally enforce Viltrumite law when it comes to trying Nolan for his crimes against Viltrum, and do their job pretty straightforwardly.
Was your betrayal worth death?
They're just so mean to him, it's kind of funny. They take their job so seriously, you gotta respect it. And as for who I like better,
may you die with more dignity than you lived.
That line is kind of based.
Answer me!
Yeah, I love this one more, bro. Alan and the lion dude bust in and fight them while trying to free Nolan. Seeing Alan get his ass handed to him by the Executioner actually inspires Nolan to finally listen to Alan and follow his heart, breaking out and helping the fight. Executioner number 1 gets his heart clawed out by Battle Beast, and number 2 actually gets double teamed by Nolan and Alan, and actually lands a kick and a headbutt on them, before getting his poor head double blasted by both of them in a knuckle sandwich of the finest sort. These Executioners actually put up a fight, we gotta respect it. Thaedus, pronounced Thaedus for some reason, is a frickin' legend. He is probably the coolest Viltrumite, as he was the only one other than Nolan to revolt against the Empire and fight for freedom. Bro looks like Moses, and his voice matches it too. They got Peter Cullen to do this voice.
I am sorry I gambled with your life, but it has paid off.
I'm sorry, my friend. For Cybertron to rise, the Coalition must fall. Him ripping off his beard and revealing he is a Viltrumite is the funniest thing to me, because Alan is so shocked. It's like Dr. Doofenshmirtz not knowing Perry without the hat, or Two-Face not recognizing Joker with the face mask. I talked about Lucan at last place, and admittedly that was kinda jokes because he looks like Steve Harvey, but Vidor has to be the most uninspired Viltrumite of them all. He gets a few cool lines.
Insects. You barely touch them, and they die. If your son dies, he never deserved to live.
Which is exacerbated by his voice actor, Chris Diamantopoulos, who also voices Donald. But out of the 3 Viltrumites in this episode, he's least on screen and offers the least memorability. He fights Nolan while Invincible handles Thula, the female one. And Vidor actually puts up a fight against Nolan, to be fair. Eventually Nolan just crushes his head with 2 fists, with a kind of weird animation as his head splits in half. What a loser. Then he gets his head crushed under Nolan's foot. Not the best way to go. Should've quit while he was still ahead. On the other hand, Thula is the female Viltrumite, only one of 2 in the whole series, and she's absolutely cunning. She fights Mark, and she even has braided hair with a knife at the end of it. She could even control that hair like Doc Ock's freaking tentacles, dude. Not to mention her ruthlessness. I mean, those eyes are insane. She has real bloodlust in those eyes, and you can see it in her fighting. Grey DeLisle does great on this voice. It's like if Vicky had a baby with one of her torture tools. Mark struggles to beat her until he sees the Thraxans she's killed, and then he finally wakes up from being sentimental and makes her bleed a bit. What's with all these Viltrumites and smiling when they bleed a little bit? Do they get off on the taste of blood? Gives bloodlust a whole new meaning, I guess. She has Mark on the ropes, quite literally at times, but then Mark actually gets the upper hand. As he's about to finish her, she takes advantage of his slowness and weakness and shoves the knife into his stomach. Thankfully, Nolan's elbow came to the rescue, right in her jaw. I think it's safe to assume she died in reasonable agony after that. Man, this show will desensitize you to gore and violence faster than those Instagram reels of brutal car crashes ever will. I thought I'd keep Oliver, Mark, and Nolan on this list to be complete and fair, but I won't talk about them as much, as they're all basically decent characters who everyone knows about, so I'll keep it short. Oliver kinda gets on my nerves sometimes, and it is kinda satisfying to see him get hurt a little bit once in a while, so he can understand the extreme situations that exist in the world. But I do love the voice, the design, and his helping hand to Mark is always a great addition to the fight scenes. Often he just becomes a bit of a hindrance though, as Mark has to hold back yet again to protect him, but that's just part of the story, I guess. Oh, and that Mauler scene was absolutely brutal. I guess the one benefit of Oliver is he does tell Mark to stop being such a wimp on occasion, which is a good dialogue to have. General Kregg, who I've learned is pronounced Krieg, like Blitzkrieg if you will, is absolutely brutal.
Go fuck it.
He's the big boss, and he even tells Anissa what to do. He's got a cool design and cool voice by Clancy Brown. Invincible, you're wasting all my money and all your potential, boy. Kregg uses his words to inflict horror, and does a pretty good job at that. He's more threatening than the others, and resorts to only quick bursts of physical violence only when he needs to. This definitely makes him more emphasized, and makes him appear more stoic and experienced. He later interrogates Nolan and questions his loyalty to Earth versus the Viltrum homeworld, and does a pretty good job showing he's the boss. I hope he's given a bigger role in the future, because he's got a lot of potential, as one of the biggest loyalists to his planet. Still, not as badass as one of his underlings. Anissa is one of my favorite Viltrumites, and I think she was the first Viltrumite we actually saw in the show, if I'm not mistaken. I know Mark and Nolan are too, guys. I mean, other than them. You guys can correct me on that in the comments. But anyway, the first thing we see of her is her grabbing Amber by the throat and threatening to decapitate her. I mean, Season 2 Amber? I'm not really gonna complain. But nah, seriously, this was a super terrifying introduction.
Viltrumites do not kill for pleasure. Even if they sometimes take pleasure in killing, dead humans do not benefit us.
Definitely the best entrance for any Viltrumite in the show, period. She goes through the whole Viltrum Empire speech and proves that she's actually better than any human, or even Mark for that matter, when she stops a rogue monster from destroying a cruise ship full of humans. Wait a minute, where the hell did this monster come from exactly? Anyway, Mark denies her in the whole Viltrum quasi-pitch, and she absolutely destroys him. I mean, kicks his ass royally. And this was before Mark even really knew how to fight. He's still an amateur by Season 2. Not enough killing as of yet. She's got him on the ropes, but our boy doesn't give up. He says,
"Either you need me, or you don't. Make up your mind."
and actually outsmarts her. Not even Cecil could have thought about that. And she actually leaves, without even killing anyone. I guess Anissa has more bark than bite, not like someone else we're about to talk about. We do see her again, fighting Alan the alien, and she can't even beat him without him faking his own loss to sneak into her ship. He's not that bright either, as it turns out. Conquest is just a beast, bro.
Stand ready for my arrival, worm.
Oh my gosh!
Stand ready for my arrival, worm. You have no idea how many times me and my friends say that almost unironically at this point. This guy's quotes have become so mainstream that you see them everywhere online, and I absolutely love it. What an entrance. What a voice. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, kudos to you, my man. Not gonna lie, when I saw your picture online, I thought you were John Hamm for a second, but you can chalk that up to me not watching any new TV shows other than basically Invincible. He delivers a phenomenal performance here. This is basically Mark's last chance to fulfill his duty, and it encompasses an entire season finale, with Conquest getting the whole thing to himself. Don't worry, we'll get to that insane monologue. First, let's go through his greatest hits.
I'll tell you no such thing. The truth is, Conquest doesn't mess around like Anissa. He's a killer. Although with Anissa, well, you know, if you know the comics, she has a different approach to fighting Mark. But regardless, Conquest just loves killing humans. He gets off on that, the sick bastard. That's the face of a man with 0 Fs left to give, dude. He blows a blood heart just to flick it away like it's the frickin' Tattletale Strangler from SpongeBob drawing on a police car seat. And yeah, he absolutely destroys Mark. Mark even asks him for a timeout mid-fight, and his reaction is...
Are you crazy?
Not even a no. He's genuinely flabbergasted by Mark's proposal. I love this guy so much. He even adds insult to injury by telling Mark that his dad is dead, which isn't even true. He just lies to absolutely destroy Mark inside. He stretches Oliver to eat his heart, and gives Mark the old train treatment again, beats the ever-loving crap out of Eve, and even gets Mark to call out to Cecil for help. I'd say that deserves some praise. The fight between him and Mark is epic, and his monologue is incredible, as everyone knows.
I am so lonely. All the other Viltrumites are scared of me.
He's a lonely guy, but you know, if I were Mark, I would have said some Bruce Lee shit like, "You live alone and you'll die alone." Some Master Yoshi vibes there for sure.
He who lives without honor will end without honor.
And after that long-ass monologue that wasn't even in the comics, he tells Mark to take it to his grave. What an absolute G. Mark and Eve defeat him together, but not before he breaks both of Mark's hands and one of his legs. Eve burns his skin to the 3rd degree, and Mark just headbutts him to Viltrumite hell. At least, let's hope so. I do love Mark's character a lot. Again, I'll keep it shorter than others because this video isn't really about the Grayson family, but I mean, everyone loves Mark, right? The writers did a great job with this character. Stephen Yen delivers probably the best performance out of all the main cast in this show, which is extremely impressive because I adore J.K. Simmons and Walton Goggins. But yeah, the constant internal debate from Mark between human and Viltrumite, between killing and giving mercy, it's also entertaining to watch. His growth and moral compass make him one of the most compelling characters, and a great protagonist to center this universe around. And of course, Nolan is number one. We all knew that. I've made a video on Omni-Man before. I love his voice. I think J.K. Simmons is probably the greatest actor living today, which I know is a huge thing to say, but from Whiplash, Juno, BoJack, Horror, Spider-Man, and now this, Simmons has proven his chops in live action and animation, and truly brings his character to life. He may not be the best here compared to Stephen Yen, but still phenomenal. In terms of his character, he's by far the most developed and complex Viltrumite in this show, going through tons of character growth in all 3 seasons, and revealing a deep internal conflict that is super interesting. He starts off as an endearing dad, morphs into a terrifying villain, although we do see beautiful glimpses of hope at certain points, and then he's a dad again, gets captured, and then reveals layers of deeper turmoil while in captivity with Alan. His struggle of loyalty and love for his family versus his people is what makes him so compelling, and he's probably the strongest character physically in the universe, which obviously gives him some more credit on this list. Narratively and physically, Omni-Man is a legendary character. I also love those edits where they remove his mustache, but for God's sake, keep it on. And that was all of the Viltrumites from Invincible Seasons 1 to 3, ranked worst to best. What do you think? Which Viltrumite is your favorite? How would you rank them? Give me all your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to see your opinions. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed, and follow all the socials with the links below. I'm A.S.K, and I'll see you beautiful ladies and jellyfish in the next one.